Hello, I'm Sophiralou and welcome to my channel.
Hello guys and welcome to this week's Sketchbook Sunday. This week the topic as chosen by you guys is creating the perfect companion. We've already talked about in previous Sketchbook Sundays about creating your own plant witch character or creating your own mushroom hunters character, and now it's time to talk about creating the perfect companion to go with those characters. As always, the vote for next week's topic goes here. Please don't be disappointed if the topic doesn't get chosen for next week. I am going to do all of them, so that for those who keep voting for hair tutorial and face tutorial, don't worry, I will be doing that, and possibly might not even do it in a Sketchbook Sunday. I might go in a more in-depth video. So as always, you know, let me know in the comment section down below if you've got any ideas for the next topic that you'd like to see. I'm always interested in your ideas. For today, I've got a giant cup of tea. You could practically take a swim in that. It's so big. But I've got my cup of tea, I've got my sketchbook. This one is one I picked up from Tiger. I don't know what I think of it so far. I'm not really a huge fan of it, but that's for another time. I've got my sketch pencils. So grab your sketchbook, grab your drink, and let's discuss. So you're creating a companion to go with your character, and that's fantastic. In my world, I'd like to imagine that companions are there to not only guide the witch or the wizard or the person that they are with, they're there as friends and family and a reflection of their personality. I always find that when you're creating a companion, it's good for a companion to have an interesting dynamic with your character. For example, I have Prickles, who this is a very cartoony version of Prickles. I was practicing with some Posca pens, but with Prickles, I have him he's very prickly in his attitude, which is the complete opposite to Marie, and it gives a nice dynamic with the characters, whereas Lavender has a very snooty character, and Freya has Cap and Gus, who are very loyal and friendly and just there to help each other and protect each other. So when you're thinking about your companion and the design of your companion, you're thinking about how does it reflect my witch, wizard, my tinkerer, my maker, my gatherer. In this universe, there are hundreds of different types of jobs, and not everyone necessarily has a companion, but if your character has a companion, why do they have that particular character? I have seen some of your amazing plant witch or witch and wizard designs that you guys have done, and the amount of fantastic characters that you guys are creating already is phenomenal, and you're really thinking about it, and that's fantastic. But for those who are a little bit stuck, here's a few guidelines I always like to go by. 1. What do you think really represents the characters? Personality, and think about the characters overall. Why would they have this? Is this a reflection on them? Is this a reflection of their personality? Why would they have this sort of animal? Think about that. Or if it's not an animal, if it's a hybrid, why would they have this sort of hybrid character? It's really handy when you're thinking about your companion to think about how would they help in any general way, shape or form to your original character. So if you have a plant witch, why do they have, say, a cat? Why do they have a bird? Do they help gather the materials? For example, the desert witch that we created in designing the plant witch character, she has a snake, and I can imagine that is because it's a very hardy character. It suits that environment. There's no point in making a character who has a fish as a companion, but they're not surrounded by water. So think about the logistics of what your character is going to do and where your character is. It will help not only develop your character's companion, but it also help develop your character as well. I love creating little critters to go with a witch or a wizard, or to go with I think it's something to do with the Disney trope of where every Disney princess has a companion. I just really like that idea, and it's just something that I've always adhered to, and it's something that I've always enjoyed. One of my favourite books to read when I was younger was The Golden Compass, and I absolutely loved the companions in that. And when I was creating my own world and my own character designs, I always wanted them to have a sort of character that not only reflects their personality, but they could talk to as well. If you have a character that doesn't really interact with humans very often, think about the type of companion that they would have. Is their companion there to give them company? Is their companion there to help develop them? And do they have their social things with the character? Is their companion sarcastic? Can they understand their companion? I have it in this series that the most of the witches and wizards don't tend to understand their critters unless they specifically speak the critter's language, or say if they are an animal raiser, they would tend to know what the animal's language is to understand them in any way, shape or form. But I feel like with critters, they have this sort of like unspoken bond with their like compatriots, so to speak. I'm trying to think of words while drawing. It is not very easy. But when you're thinking of like how you're developing your critters and developing, I have not put the tail in the right place here, but let's just have it with a very fluffy butt. I like this idea that it's covered in flowers. Let's just like think about how your character would develop over time, and over like how their companion would be theirs. So say for it, you have a desert do they have a large beast? Do they have a small beast? In my world, what I've created, the way people tend to have, like for example, magic users make their own critters. They make their own companions, so to speak. And it's a rite of passage, and they don't tend to be able to do that until they've learned enough magic to be able to develop and create a living being. And it's right, a witch can have more than one companion, but to keeping track and looking after more than one companion can be quite difficult, so most of them tend to stick with just the one. If you, for example, have a witch or a wizard who lives in an aviary type of place, looking after birds, why do they have birds? Are they a postman? Are they a messenger? Like, think about like why your main character would have that companion. So what about non-magic users? Well, non-magic users don't tend to have companions unless the companions help them in their job. So for example, Freya is a non-magic user in my world, but she has two companions. She has Cap and Gus, and they help her with her job. So even though she didn't create them from magic, she found them. So there are magical creatures that exist without the aid of magic, but a witches and wizards companion tends to be a little bit more personal than a non-magic user. A magic user tends to develop their character, but it is quite often that they don't end up developing, that they just end up bonding with a creature in some way, shape or form. So a non-magic user could say hatch a dragon egg and then have like a little dragon as like their companion. It does happen, it's not uncommon, but it's more common that a witch or wizard would make their companion to be a reflection of not only their personality, but to have someone who will aid them in their spells, their magic, or this, that and the other. Prickles, on the other hand, he's more of a friend to Marie. He helps her in the way of he's always there for her, and he does like to knock potions off when he's being ignored, so he doesn't tend to be the most helpful, but he is very good at noticing when stuff needs to be looked after, stuff needs to be watered. He's always reminding Marie by showing her exactly what's wrong. So if, say for example, Marie's missed like a patch of plants, he will yowl at her until she realises that something's wrong. So that's how Prickles works with Marie. I can imagine like with another magic user who we have called the Potions Master. He has a very normal-ish looking cat, but the cat has this ability to like blend into the shadows very easily. So he tends to like gather ingredients, which are in more dangerous areas than the potions master can actually physically get to. So there are ways that your critter, if you are doing it for this universe or companion for this universe, there are ways that you can tie that in. If you just want it to be a friendly compadre, and then I don't know why I keep saying that word, but if you just want it to be a friend for your character, that's absolutely fine as well. So I'm actually really interested in seeing what you guys create. There isn't this bunny character I really want to develop more. I would be really interested in seeing what you guys would create for your magic or non-magic users. I would be very interested in just seeing the general idea of what you guys come up with. You guys so far have created some amazing, like, beautiful character designs, and I'm just flabbergasted every time I see some of them. If you guys do want to check out what everyone's done, I highly suggest checking out like the Instagram Stay Creative with Sophiralou tag, because honestly, some of the designs that are in there are just absolutely phenomenal, and I would recommend you checking them out. And also for you to check out, like, if you feel free to share your work, of course. If you don't have an Instagram or a Twitter, you can send links in the comment section down below so that we can check out your work and so we can see what stunning stuff that you have done. I love seeing how creative you guys, it kind of fuels my mind and it helps me. I think with creativity we all fuel ourselves off each other, and we all bond over art and be inspirational for each other. So I can't thank you enough for taking part in these Sketchbook Sundays. I really am grateful that you guys like them. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and make sure to vote obviously for the next topic. As I said, don't worry, all topics will be covered. But for now, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm gonna go and eat an Easter egg and treat myself, and I honestly thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay creative. Bye!